Hello family, this is Dr. Ross. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the first installment in the short and sweet, just get to the point series. One of our subscribers asked for a video on how do I change the spare tire on my trailer. Well, a lot of people wouldn't know how to change a tire on a trailer, and there's no owner's manual usually with it. So I thought we could do a quick video on how to change a tire on a trailer. Alright, first of all, if you've got a reason to take a tire off your trailer, there's two things you need. You need a way to jack it up, and you need a way to take off the lugs. That's the main two things you need. Even if you don't have a spare tire, if you can get the tire off, you can throw it in a friend's car, take it to the tire shop and get it fixed and bring it back. But the two things you absolutely need is a way to get the thing jacked up and a way to get the wheel off. Now most cars, trucks come with these tools in them. Either in the trunk under the floor, underneath, sometimes in the hood, sometimes underneath the passenger seat. So pull out your owner's manual and find out where your jack and your handle is. A lot of times these things will work for your trailer. So maybe during this video I can jump in and see what kind of jack we have in the pickup that might work on the trailer. Meanwhile, I got my floor jack out there. So we're going to think about safety first. We're going to get the thing blocked so it doesn't move. Jack it up and take the wheel off. This is my Dodge pickup, and the jack and lug wrench handle is kept right behind this door under the passenger seat, and the jack is perfect for a trailer. It would work great. It's made for this truck, but it would definitely work for the trailer. The lug wrench though will not, because it only fits the size lugs that this truck comes with, and that's too big to fit the trailer. You can get an adapter though that goes in here and then use it on your trailer lugs. In fact, I do have an adapter for this wrench that fits inside there and goes on the custom wheel lug nuts that I have. This is a Volkswagen Jetta that we have in the family, and the tools are found with the spare tire underneath the floor. The jack that comes with this car would definitely work on the trailer. It would work great. Again, the lug wrench wouldn't work on the trailer because it's too small. But if a bystander was around with a Volkswagen Jetta and that was the only jack you had, it certainly would work to lift the vehicle. Have something or anything to shove under the tires on the opposite side that we're working, so that this trailer isn't going to move anywhere. Next, we're going to make sure we can lift the vehicle up. The best place on a trailer is right under the axle, actually on most vehicles. So on the other side that we're not working on, we've got some chalk blocks so the thing can't move, and the best place to put our jack would be under the axle behind the tire. There's also a point here where we can jack both of these up. The safest is under the axle. So either right here, close to the spring as we can get, or maybe even under the spring or under one of these bolts that are holding the spring on. So I'm going to go right on this bolt because it's going to grab onto the cup on my jack better. I could also put it on this axle right here, but I'd have to be really careful that it's not going to slip, and this is rounded and slippery. So I'm happier with this spot because the bolt is going to be able to take the weight, no problem, and it's going to stick to the cup of my jack. Just going to go far enough so that we're off the ground and we're sure that we can raise this trailer. So that was number one. You've got to be able to jack it up. Number two, you've got to have a way to get the nuts off. So I'm going to set it back down temporarily to loosen those nuts. With the weight of the trailer pressing down on the tire, it'd be easier for me to loosen these nuts, especially if you had a flat tire. Make sure you can jack the vehicle up first, and if you can, then go back down, put some weight on it so that we can get these nuts loose. How much pressure should it take to loosen these nuts? Well, we'll try this. That's gonna turn. One trick you might have to try is stepping on the handle. So you know these always go counterclockwise, especially on any trailer. So we're gonna probably have to stand on this in order to get it loose. At this point, hopefully you have enough strength to get the nuts loose. We've got to get them to turn just a little tiny bit before we jack the weight up off the nuts. We don't want to loosen them up too much. We just want each one of them to turn a little bit. So I had to stand on the end of the wrench. That's going to be pretty common for most people if the wheel hasn't been off in a while and if it's properly tightened to the torque specification. It helps that this wrench is so long. That gives me more pressure when I'm out on the end than it would be if my wrench was only this long and I was having to push here. I wouldn't have as much turning force. In fact, the proper lug nut torque is 80 foot-pounds, and that means 80 pounds at 1 foot. So if I had a wrench that was 1 foot long, at the very end of it, have an 80-pound kid stand on that until it stops turning, that's a proper torque. What you can do is have a 2 foot long wrench, and then it only takes half as much pressure. So 40 pounds of force on the end gives you 80 foot-pounds of torque. So when we're loosening this, we need at least 80 pounds at the 1 foot mark. So if you only weigh 120, you might need a bar that's 3 feet long. It really helps if you get up there and stand on it though. There's a way to cheat where you put a piece of pipe on the end of this, but whatever you do, try to keep your body in a safe position. If you have to, go get a longer wrench. Now we're going to go ahead and jack up the vehicle and take the weight off the tire. This is called a jack stand. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's essential as far as being safe. It's adjustable for height, and I could put it under the suspension in the case that the jack should fail. The jack is technically not something to keep under the vehicle while you're working on it. It's supposed to lift it up, then you can set it on some blocks or jack stand. When we're changing a flat tire though on the road, a lot of times we don't have that luxury. But I'm here at the shop, I'm going to take it off and service the bearings, so I should go ahead and use the jack stand for safety. All right. So if you came this far to change a tire, now you just take the nuts the rest of the way off. Sometimes the wheel will be stuck on there even after you've got all the lug nuts off. The thing is jacked up and you still can't get the wheel off. There's been a dozen times I got called out on road service and the client had all the nuts off and the thing jacked up properly and the wheel was still stuck on. If this happens to you, you've just got to kick it as hard as you can. That's the trick. Kick it, kick the heck out of it. Go find a piece of firewood and hit it as hard as you can, because sometimes they just get a little bit stuck on the hub. If all the nuts are off and the thing's jacked up and it still seems stuck, you're just going to have to kick at it. Those nuts were pretty tight and hard to turn all the way out. The reason is because it just hasn't been off in a long time, and I hope they go on a little easier. But you never want to put penetrating oil or lubricant or anything on your nuts when you're putting it back together. The reason is it will falsely seem tight and not be the correct tightness. In fact, if you have lubricant on your nuts, you can over tighten the bolts to the point where they break. So it's important that these all be dry when you put it back together. If you just can't get them off and you want to use some WD-40 or penetrating lubricant on them, that needs to be cleaned off when you put it back together. If you're ready to put that tire back on, you got it fixed or if you got your spare, you're gonna line up the bolt holes. And start all the nuts by hand. And remember, they should be dry, so if you got grease on them, wipe it off. And after they're all snug, then we'll be able to put some weight from the trailer on, and so we can do the final tightening. When they talk about a star pattern, it's like when you drew a star when you were a kid. Go from here down to that arm, and down to that leg and back up. So just crossing to the farthest one away. When you keep doing it, it makes a star. Whether it's 4, 5, or 6 of the nuts, it's probably going to be about 80 pounds tightness that it's supposed to be. The 8 lugs are higher. They have a higher torque rating, maybe 120. And in order to get there, we're going to have to set some weight down on the wheel. So we've got them all snug. Okay, now if it's an emergency, you're changing this on the side of the road or something, what you're going to do is just get it kind of as tight as you comfortably can. And then as soon as you are able, you should have someone with a torque wrench check it. If you don't have a lot of strength, then once again you can stand on it so you can get the extra torque. We do have a torque wrench here. Let's go ahead and set the torque wrench to 80 pounds and see how I did. This torque wrench is going to click when it reaches the right pressure. Okay, that was about right. Well, congratulations, you did it. You changed the tire. If you liked that video, please hit the like for me. If you can think of another topic for a short and sweet, get to the point series, let me know down in the comments. And be sure and subscribe. Come on back for lots more fun tips, and we will see you on the next video.